Memphis. Hey, where Nothing but Memphis. Everywhere we go, it's Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee, the beautiful land in the world.
And I'm thankful for this guy who tweeted and said I don't have that fire in my eye no more. That game right there was for him. That's what I do. I prove people wrong each and every night, and that's for him right there.
This is Coach Tom Izzo at Michigan State, and you're listening to Grizz 901. I'm sorry. 901, right?
901.
Hi, this is Tom Izzo at Michigan State, and you're listening to Grizz 901.
Yo! What up, Grizz Nation? And welcome back to another post-game show here presented to you by Bluff City Media. I am your host, Daniel Greer, and we have a fun show. And yes, saying I will acknowledge you. Anyway, we're going to have a fun night. This is our first winning streak of the season. We will not let you tell us it's not. But as you can see, things are changing. The intro changed today. I finally got my hands on it. We got going good. I played the little the little blooper by the one, the GOAT, the only Tom Izzo. But we're going to go ahead and get it. I'm wearing something I'm doing new. When we win, we're wearing the winner's jacket. Let's go ahead and get it with the show. Yo, I got the winner's jacket, and what is going on in Utah?
In honor of the Grizzlies bombing out 2 opponents in a row, and it is now snowing, so I can go bomb the slopes tomorrow. I dress for the occasion. Dare I say the Grizzlies are fun again, maybe? Question mark?
Are we back?
Question mark?
Are we back? Wow.
Knock on all the wood. But for tonight, we are. We are. And in honor of that, this reminds me of Texas. We're drinking a really nice bottle tonight. Some Eagle Rare. This show is brought to you by, but not actually brought to you by Eagle Rare. It's really brought to you by Vince Williams Jr. Shout out, Vince.
Shout out, Vince, man. The Grizzlies played very well. They win 108-94. A great game out of them defensively. It was a game where they really just showed up and showed out. And it was a game where a lot of the unknowns really became known to a lot of people that might have never seen them. Like a Vince Williams. A lot of people don't know who Santi Aldama is. Let's just be honest. David Roddy is still unknown. A lot of these guys are still unknown. And even Jalen Noel, he is a guy who literally hasn't even been here 10 days at this point, and he's showing up for this team. Their creativity and me eating my hat. Yes, sorry, Sane. I doubted you, Sane. I doubted Jalen Noel, and he is coming through, except for that one time where he did show his resemblance of the guy, Dylan Brooks. He's wearing the jersey. He goes down there, bricks a shot, kills somebody in the first row, comes down there, gets a breakaway the next possession, and just pulls up on a transition three-pointer and bricks another one, hurts another kid in the audience. It was great. But besides that, Jalen Noel played an amazing game.
He's not Justice Winslow.
I had to hate on him a little bit. All right, so first of all, David Vickers said, I found you. I looked everywhere. Did I miss anything yet? No, you didn't miss anything yet except for the bomber jacket. I'm wearing the winner's jacket now. But if for some reason you are looking for us, we are always going to be showing up over at BCM Grizzlies, the old school, the known name of the Grizzly Bear Blues. You can always find us if you're on Twitter as well at Grizz 901 Podcast. But we want you to be over here on YouTube. Just push the live button over at Bluff City Media. And if you want to only follow us because you want to just watch our show and want to be notified when our show pops on, that's fine too. Hit the subscribe button over on Grizz 901 Podcast over on YouTube. And so, listen, we're going to have a lot of fun as we always do. We're going to hit the comments and go through this, but let's go ahead and break down the game. Man, Grizz is saying we got our Halloween costumes on. No, but unfortunately, I feel like I look like a Barstool person, which I hate.
You do.
I hate. I don't want to look like that. This might have to go away.
I look like I'm having fun, which I love.
Yes. This might have to go away. I might find something else. This is randomly. I just thought about it this afternoon. I was like, you know what? A winner's jacket. I think that would be fun. So it won't look like this every game. Well, it can, but it won't look like this every game. But I thought it'd be something interesting to do and to kind of celebrate the wins, kind of, show up a little bit different. But as David says, mash the like button. It helps us. It gets us into the algorithm. Let's go ahead and get into a little bit of the game. Jaren Jackson Jr., shout out Goon. He didn't show up. He did.
I know. Goon got his comments in and looks like he left. I was like, he's going to be in here all night. We have nothing to say tonight. God, that was a trash Jaren game.
I literally thought Goon would be just dancing on his grave at this point because the way Jaren looked tonight was just absolutely atrocious. But all in all, it was a game that you kind of got to write off for him. It's one of those you just shred the tape. You don't watch anything. You don't see anything. Move on. But all in all, 4 points out of him, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. And 14 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, 14 minutes. David Roddy, a decent game. He played okay at times. His defense was okay at times, but 6 points on 6 rebounds, 3 assists. And then Bismack Biyombo held to 6 rebounds. I thought he would actually do much more against Derek Lively, but 4 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists are very big. Let's get to D Rose, 6 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. D Rose played very well. He got the offense started early, and that was key for them, is getting the offense rolling, getting them in rhythm. And honestly, what you saw is whenever the offense got out of rhythm, it was Derrick Rose going and get the ball and making sure that they get into their sets, making sure they get into their rhythm, but also him getting to the front of the rim. Like, that's key. Anytime they had to overplay and stop him at the front of the rim, it was another kick out, and then it was swing, shot. Like, that's really what you're doing when you're Derrick Rose. But let's talk about the main people. As you can tell, I've left one starter and the rest are bench guys. Desmond Bane, 30 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 of 6 from deep. He went 11 of 20. 11 of 20 overall.
He should have been 12 of 21 too. Got gypped by Ray Acosta. If you're not familiar with his work.
Oh, Ray. All right, so Santi Aldama, 17 points, 12 rebounds. Santi was a machine. He filled in a lot for Jaren with his 33 minutes. That was big. The biggest thing I saw with Santi tonight was confidence, was very much so. I know him and Dez got into it. The thing that shows me that Dez and Santi getting into it at halftime, what that shows me is that they're, I wouldn't say equals, they feel confident that they can yell at the other person and it not go bad. Because sometimes you yell at somebody and you're just like, F them, I'm done. Like, but when you're on a team, you can't yell at somebody because you know it's not going to go good. But if you feel comfortable enough to have a heated conversation, and obviously they work through it, especially at halftime, that goes to show me much more than somebody who won't yell at the other person. If you're willing to yell at them, then you're willing to honestly go to bat for them as well. There's a lot there, and a lot of times that people don't understand sports or team sports or not been involved as much. That's a lot of it. Like, you got to be able to yell at somebody, and they got to be able to take it.
It was Dez's fault, though, right? We're all in agreement.
I think it was Desmond's fault. I don't know why he stopped. I don't know why he stopped.
I don't know what he was doing either. I know he was yelling at Santi mid-play.
He was pissed.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But all right. So Jalen Noel, he had 19 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He went 2 of 6 from deep. The points are great. Like, the 19 points. The other numbers, they're fine. I don't see anything there that you would like, oh my God, if I'm looking at this box score, it looks okay. Bro, he was on his stuff. He looked so good. No, Jalen Noel.
Vince? Oh, they said, I thought you were talking about Vince for a second. Sorry, I got distracted by Kenny's comment that my jacket was messing with my audio.
Yeah, because
you're better now.
Your face is under your jacket for whatever reason. It is.
Oh, so it's doing what I wanted to do. Okay. I'm kidding. I'll come back.
All right, so Jalen Noel played.
Jalen Noel looked awesome.
Yeah, he did.
Acknowledge him.
That's better than what mine was. Real quick, going back to that other one, Dak Daniels says that Santi was supposed to foul. That actually makes more sense. I didn't get that. I guess they had one to give. So anyway.
Apparently, Des thought so, I guess.
Apparently. All right. Vince Williams Jr., 15 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 of 6 from deep, 6 of 9 overall. The dude put on a show, an activity show. Like if you're looking for the activity book, that's called the Vince Williams from now on, because dude was everywhere and he was making just so many good plays. It was a great game out of all those guys. And the fact that we are here celebrating back-to-back wins when we thought there was zero chance that we were going to even get to 6 wins, that we're setting at 5 with some games to go. I feel confident in this team. They got their mojo back. So Nate, after all that, come on top rope. What you got, man?
Vince Williams Jr. Vince Williams Jr. Everything we saw in Summer League that we're like, oh, man, if he could just do that in the NBA, lo and behold, he can do it in the NBA. After Summer League, we were like, hey, this guy looks like the best wing. He looks like the best wing. But in Summer League, guess what? He is the best wing. He is the best wing. Like, it's the only reason none of us bought into it in Summer League was because he was the undrafted one. We're like, nah. Guess what? He's freaking awesome. He's the Anthony Melton Jr. Somebody said that in our last show. I don't know who it was. May have been Dak. I don't know. Somebody said that. They are right. The dude was everywhere tonight. It's just crazy awesome defensive activity. He gets every freaking rebound. I mean, the only time I yelled the entire game tonight was when he got a putback bucket with like 3 minutes left and the game was already over. But I was just so pumped to see him do that. It's like, dude, he has just been awesome. I love it. He's the guy. He's my player of the game.
Yes, Adam Pike says he did get injured during the Summer League, and so that's kind of why they shut him down a little bit. So
probably just put the team on his back like he did tonight.
I think his back was hurting during the Summer League because that's what he was doing, and he was doing that tonight. That goes to show that you can have all the metrics, you can have whatever you want, ability wise, but realistically, if you have a little bit of energy, a little bit of effort, all you have to do is outwork the person across from you. And that's what really Vince Williams has done. And he's gone to really get himself an NBA contract. And so I know we were talking a little bit about it earlier, and we're going to get into it. I want to discuss a little bit later in the second segment. But I want to talk about what this looks like going forward, because as you can see, Vince has to get real minutes. But also, Jalen Noel can be a bench scorer, a bench bucket. I think that was Luke that termed that. And then you have to have your big in Bismack Biyombo. So I know that we have other guys that we can get rid of potentially and move. That's a whole nother topic for another day. But I do want to go into detail of how important those three are to this team. And I want you to answer the question, what do you do with them? Do you make sure you don't lose them? Because obviously Vince is on a two-way. He can stay on a two-way, but he can't play any meaningful games down the stretch, really, because you're playing him so much already. And he can't play in the playoffs on a two-way. And so that's very important for me. And so we'll get into that. But looking at this game, some things that I wrote down. And this one I want to hit on these real quick. But we're talking about Vince. And so Vince and the effort and the activity. Vince Williams had so many loose balls that were able to keep the momentum going, but also lost possessions become, those empty possessions, they aren't so empty anymore. Let's look at these stats real quick. I'm going to go through the team stats. This thing will pull up for me. Give me a brain freeze. Here we go. All right. So the field goal percentage is 48.9 to 37% from them. And a lot of that is the defense, the activity. Also 3-point percentage is 32 to 30, 9 of 11 from free throw. I'm not going to go on that. The free throws weren't the issue tonight. We rebounded by 10 tonight, which is important defensively. Out by 10, the same on the offensive glass, the same on the assists. Steals were equal, 12 blocks to 5 blocks. Both teams good on turnovers. Fast break points, they did have 18 to our 9, which is big, right? You can't give that many, but realistically, 18 is not a huge number. But you'd like to see that down and ours up a little bit. But points in the paint, 50 of our 108 in the paint, and that's really what it comes down to. is the fact that the Grizzlies are able to get to the front of the rim for kickouts. I think that's big. A study I'm going to go look at, and I didn't have time to do it tonight because I want to enjoy the game. But shout out to our stats guy, my right hand, my left hand, whatever he is, Sean Coleman. I want to look at what this team looks like on just standstill shots, right? So catch and shoot, or if they're able to, the dribble up and shoot, because shooting off the dribble on this team, I don't think it has been very successful at all. And so I was even looking at Des Bane's, and his was like 32% was his 3-point percentage off the dribble. And so I'm going to look at that this next week and kind of see if I can start looking through that and seeing if that might be something that might correlate. But overall, any of those stats stick out to you that you're like, hey, I didn't expect that out of the game, or hey, all that was the same?
No, I mean, you got 50 points in the paint, and Jaren Jackson Jr. played 14 minutes.
Big, yeah.
That's massive. And it's almost like, I wonder if there's anyone in the recent past who was like, man, if they could just play with great defensive effort and get in the paint, they could win a lot of games. I wonder if there was anyone who may have said that on a show, that those two things added together would equal wins. I wonder, I don't know. We'll have to look around and see if that could be found anywhere. But dude, I mean, that's, in all seriousness, they played really hard defense, and all they've done the past 2 games is made them earn it.
Yeah.
They just made both these teams earn it. And when they do that, then you see everything starts regressing back to the mean. Teams aren't shooting 50% from 3. Yeah, I think the Jazz actually did shoot about 50% from 3, but they didn't get as many threes off as they would normally would, right? And so that's all equaling out. Then you get some fast break buckets. You guys get some shots in transition, some easy looks. It all flows together. I mean, it's one, I think it is effort, but 2, I do think it is. You injected a couple of guys into the lineup that are just making a difference for you. Vince Williams and Jalen Noel. I mean, Jalen Noel, who I don't think he had a point against the Jazz, but was making a difference all night on the court, right? You got 2 guys who are hooping. You throw them in a lineup. You take out guys like Jake LaRavia, get them out of the lineup, and all of a sudden, good things are happening, right?
Yep. All right, so enough of that. I do want to ask a very important question, and I do not have a graphic, okay? I was trying to figure out a graphic, but I had 2 guys that were co-player of the game for the Grizz 901. Player of the game is 2 guys, and it's Jalen Noel and it's Vince Williams, in my opinion. But I want to ask you, but I also want to ask the chat. So the chat, if you could give me either initials for Vince Williams, VW, or if you want to go ahead and put the name in. I want to know who you think actually is the player of the game, because I am torn. And I did the graphic for both guys. I couldn't find a Jalen Noel photo of him in a Grizzlies uniform, first of all. So that sucked. But the other one is Vince Williams Jr. And I had it ready, and I was like, you know what? I think Jalen Noel really carried this team at times when we really need to be carried. And so I was uncomfortable doing that for Vince Williams, even though it would have been his first Grizz 901 player of the game. But Nathan in the chat, I want to know who your player of the game would be.
I mean, my actual answer is Vince Williams, because he was freaking awesome. I said it before we even got in this conversation. I could not be happier about Vince Williams Jr. right now. But to somehow be contrarian, I guess I'll say Desmond Bane, who dropped 35 and 4 tonight and shot like 50-something% from the field. Somehow
you don't
Desmond
even think
Bane,
it's Jalen Noel either?
No.
Really?
I think Jalen Noel was awesome. I don't mind. Like, I'm not mad about it. Like, if you want to say Jalen Noel, I wouldn't be like, nah. But Bally said Jalen Noel. We're all saying Vince Williams, and somehow Desmond been 35 and 4 is just getting completely ignored. So I'm gonna throw a little love Desmond Bane's way. Somehow he can't get love tonight and say he's a player of the game, because he dropped 35 and 4 and is the number 1 option on this team, getting hounded every night and finding a way to still contribute on a bum foot. I think I make my case pretty good there. So I love Vince Williams Jr. So happy about it. Jalen Noel, so happy about it. I'm going to go with Desmond Bane, player of the game.
All right. What does the chat say?
Everyone's saying Vince.
It's got to be Vince, right? It's got to be. Like,
to be clear, I don't disagree, but I'm not going to not admire Desmond Bane. Somehow it's like we're just like, oh, Jalen. I'm like, what about the guy that just dropped 30 on 52% shooting or whatever it was? That's pretty freaking awesome.
Hey, you know what those are called? Empty stats.
Okay. Okay, Dad. By the way, Jaren can't even stay on the court, so he's doing it by himself. So,
Is he doing the empty stats thing by himself?
yeah. Woo! The Grizzlies are fun again. What happened? I was so ready to quit 2 games ago. Now look at us. We're bombing teams out.
All right, so I got a question though, for real. Are they back? What do you make of what is happening right now? Because is it just, hey, teams go through it? The Grizzlies were all in it and they couldn't find their way out of it. Like, you know, when you're playing terrible, then you just aren't playing good, and eventually you figure out your way out of it. Or do you think they've actually found something here?
I mean, I think they've actually found something, but to be clear, I'm not Michael Scott ready to be hurt again. So let's see how it keeps going on. Because I'm not there yet, and I thought they found something a couple of times this season. But the difference is they found something in wins. 2 wins against teams that, quite frankly, have most of their roster, right? Like, you play against the Spurs and you win. Okay, they have a bunch of players. You make good things happen. Okay. You play against the Trailblazers. I mean, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to get excited about that.
Yeah.
But you beat the Jazz, who are not a good team, but have a bunch of players that if you let them play well, they will play well. And then the Mavs, who I know they didn't have Luka Doncic. I know they didn't have Maxi Kleber. I know they didn't have Tim Hardaway Jr., but I don't even know. Derek Lively's been crushing it this year. What's his face? Green. Josh Green has made a bunch of big steps the past 2 years. They still have Kyrie freaking Irving. Jaden Hardy is an absolute bucket. And you find a way to hold that team to, 94 points?
Yeah.
They found something defensively. Offensively, they still only put up 105 and then 108. But if you play like that defensively, you can win games like that. Now, they have to keep it going. Like I said, I'm not ready to be hurt again.
Yeah.
But
you're going to get hurt again. I can see it in your eyes.
I could have gotten hurt again mid-game. Listen, last time I checked, I was the only one who thought it was possible for them to go on a winning streak. No one said it was probable, but I was like, it is possible. All it takes is to find exactly what they found. Vince Williams Jr. and Jalen Noel.
All right. Well, listen, you have Adam Pike agreeing with you that it is Desmond Bane as the player of the game. But you know what? My fingers were working fast. And we have the Grizz 901 player of the game. Give it to him, Vince. Vince Williams Jr., 15 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 long balls. I like it, Vince. Even the pitcher, that pitcher is pretty good. I have to pat myself on the back. It's quick find. But yeah, shout out to Vince Williams for a great game and doing all the dirty work. Mr. Hustle, Mr. Do Something. We'll have to give him his own name because those are kind of, I guess Mr. Hustle could be his, but definitely Mr. Do Something has been taken already. But Vince Williams, Grizz 901 player of the game. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. It'll be about a minute long. I'm going to do our short break. We'll give it our Sane and Pete. So make sure you check out this for about a minute, and then we'll be right back.
Yeah, because Zach Randolph went into the Blazers organization that had some characters. Underline the word characters,
right.
Okay? He's coming from Michigan State. He's from Marion, Indiana. And then you go to Portland, Oregon, which it's an entirely different culture, entirely different demographic. He had people around him who were guys from Marion. Hey, you owe us. Anthony, one of the key memories of my time here in Memphis, off the court, I did a Read to Achieve event with Zach Randolph. And the kid who read the most books, his prize was to get to interview Zach Randolph. And the young man, first question to Zach is, what's the hardest thing for a black athlete to learn? And Zach did not give him any, like BS fluff answer. He said, a lot of times the people who say they're your friends, they're not your friends. And you have to pick the people around you very, very wisely.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, we are back. We're Grizz on a One podcast here in your post-game show. Here, part of Bluff City Media. If you are not already subscribed, if you haven't pushed the like button, shame on you. But let's go ahead and get segment 2 rocking and rolling. Let me take away this ticker because it is bothering me.
Ticker, I barely know her.
All right, let's get to the Grizz trivia. And I just put out a little spoiler. This is going to have to rack your brain. I don't believe you're going to get it, but I think the chat is very smart. Chat's that way. Chat that way.
I'm hiding in the chat.
Yeah. So chat, he's gonna need your help. Listen closely there. Which former 3-time All-Star and Rookie of the Year was drafted 2nd overall by the Vancouver Grizzlies in 1999, but demanded to be traded before ever playing for the franchise? And to be correct, he was drafted by the Vancouver Grizzlies. He was traded after being drafted before, in between the draft and playing. So do not look at the chat just yet because I just gave it to you. Shout out to Dak Daniels. So close your chat. But who is it? So this was somebody they demanded to be traded before they ever played for the franchise.
Okay, so you said
You like that, Dak?
3-time All-Star.
3-time All-Star. Rookie of the Year. I know you can see the chat.
No, I hit it. I don't actually see it. I promise. Rookie of the Year. Oh, what year was it?
1999. 1999. He was amazing.
I don't know this. I was 4 years old. I have no idea who this was.
Guard for the Rockets.
I assumed it was a guard. 99. Are there any hints you can give me without giving it away, or no?
Yeah. He demanded to be traded before ever playing for the franchise.
For the franchise. Okay, yeah. That's not what I meant, but okay.
For the franchise. Like, the Grizzlies, the franchise, you know what I mean? He's so confused.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you keep saying that. Are you saying that he did play for the team or something?
That's his nickname.
Oh, okay.
Who is it?
Hey.
Who?
Okay.
Who is it? Do you not know?
Steve Francis.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. All right. So it was Steve Francis. I kept trying to help you.
I know, but I'm an idiot. Honestly, the fact that I went 2 for 3 on this trivia thing before I couldn't figure it out is amazing to me.
Listen, I tried to put as much in there as I could, but it was fun. It was funny. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and knock that one off. I figured, after a win, we can kind of have a little bit more fun. We're gonna give you less of a layup. Next one should be a layup on the list.
I do not know Grizzlies history. All these people are like, "Oh man, if you don't remember," I'm like, "Yeah." For the most part, I don't. I don't remember those days.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so a lot of people were getting it. So shout out to you all for getting it for sure in the chat. Let's go ahead and move on from this. And so let's talk about, I think it was somebody who just said something. Whoa, we got a new guy. Jack Move Johnny. All right. I like it. If you have a boring name, change your name to something like Jack Move Johnny. I love it.
Volcano.
I will bring you up more if you have a cool name. But Jack Move Johnny says, who gets released? So let's talk about it. Let me lay it out. Okay, so Jalen Noel is on a 10-day contract. He can get put on another 10-day contract before, so the Grizzlies do not have to sign him. Okay, so they can put another 10-day contract. You can't do more than 2. After the second one, you either have to sign him or obviously let him walk. And so that is the information behind that. Ja gets back on the 19th, and so you have to figure out something to do with Bismack Biyombo by the 19th. Okay. Another guy that we've talked about tonight is Vince Williams Jr. Vince Williams is on a 2-way contract. he can only play a certain amount of games through the season. I think it's in the 40s, maybe half the season, somewhere around there. But after that, he can't play anymore. Right? He's not allowed to play unless he's on an NBA contract. And then the playoffs, he can't play because he's on a two-way contract. So with all that laid out, your thoughts?
I mean, if Vince keeps playing like this, then you got to find a way to have him on the active roster. I mean, your biggest hole is at wing. Far and away, the biggest hole is at wing. So Vince-wise, if this is the real Vince Williams Jr., which we have zero reason to think it's not, right? I mean, we've seen it every time he's been on the court. He's pretty much been awesome outside of like garbage time minutes, right? He's been this, whether it's preseason, summer league, or now actual NBA minutes. If with Jalen Noel, it's sort of the same thing. I mean, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Play John Conchar instead of Jalen Noel?
Right.
We like John Conchar on this podcast, but dude, let's be serious.
He's getting past.
As soon as they signed Jalen Noel, I was like, how is this dude not on a roster? I've watched him cook people left and right all last year. So I was surprised he was even available, to be honest. Both those guys, as long as this isn't an aberration, they need to be on the roster. Now the question is, okay, how do you make room for them on the roster?
Yeah.
And that's the tricky part, because the easy thing is to say, and this is what we were talking about in our group text, was, okay, get rid like Gilliard. Easy. Well, not so easy, because he's not on a full NBA contract either.
Yeah, he
right?
Means,
so it doesn't actually make room.
Yeah.
Then it comes down to, okay, who is? And you know who I want. You know who I'm like, okay, who's disposable? We can talk about, let's break into two pieces.
Okay.
Who and then how. So first part being who.
Who? All right, let's do it.
Jake Arabia. I've seen enough. Have you seen enough?
Yeah,
I've seen enough.
I think he's done so.
You apparently can't even see the room.
All right, so that's
sorry, that was a low blow. He had eye surgery. That's probably a low blow.
All right, that's another issue. How do you trade somebody who is literally injured right now and has to wear glasses? I know he has to check out the medicals, but it's going to be hard to trade him in that sense.
Everybody in the NBA is tradable somehow.
True.
And so what you either package him with something that somebody does want, like John Conchar, just get rid of him. Because John Conchar, there's stuff going around that the Celtics and other teams have been interested in John Conchar, which I honestly don't find super surprising. He is a end of the bench emergency guy, plug and play. He's not going to help you, but he's not going to hurt you either, right?
Yeah,
so
he's cheap, yeah.
But if you have to package something up and some picks to just come off of guys, then maybe it's what you have to do. Right now, I wouldn't get too crazy with that, because while I do think what we're seeing from the wing is encouraging, I think it's a little bit early, maybe a lot of bit early, to jump the gun and say, okay, they just need to like make this happen because of what makes them the best. No, we still need to make sure this season isn't like going to be to the point where you can't really compete for a championship, right? Which in my opinion, they still got a big issue without Adams. Maybe that gets fixed with Tillman and Biyombo both being around, but
yeah,
we'll see. But at the same time, you want to be careful to make moves like, oh, this is going so well, and then it handicaps you in the future, be able to make moves or make picks, right? But
yeah, I don't think any of these moves you would make would be longer than a year. Maybe it's a year with a club and maybe a mutual option.
That's why I'm saying you don't go crazy trading picks and packaging picks to make room for guys or something like that.
Correct.
At the same time, I wouldn't be afraid to waive some of these guys. Like some of them, I know you're hooked for some money, but none of these guys are on some massive contracts, right? And at the end of the day, it's can be dead money anyways. So I wouldn't be afraid to waive guys, but I think you can make moves, package guys like Laravia and Conchar into something.
Yeah.
Push it. Make room for these guys, and then not handicap you going into next year or something beyond.
Yeah, let's settle on 4 names if you're okay with that. Let's go Jake Laravia, John Conchar, Kenny Lofton Jr. Who is the other one? I thought we had one more. Jake Laravia, John Conchar, and Kenny Lofton. Is there not one more that you said? Anyway.
No, that was it.
Okay, so those are the three. So those are the who, as you were explaining it. So let's talk about how, what, when, where, whatever. Let me explain a little bit of their contracts. And so I have these pulled up right now. And so Jake LaRavia did have his club option picked up for next year. And so he's getting paid 3.1 this year, getting paid 3.3 next year. That's not a big contract. And then the year after that, you have another club option for 5.1. So we're not going to go too much further than that. John Conchar is 2.4 this year, 6.1 for the next 3 seasons. That all is guaranteed, from my understanding. And the one who is not guaranteed, the easiest one to waive, if you're going to waive anybody at all, 1.7 million, 0 guaranteed for next year, with a club option the year after, both of those being 2 million each. And that's Kenny Lofton Jr. So if you were to waive somebody, Kenny Lofton is going to be the guy who gets waived. People love Kenny. I love Kenny. I think he's a great player. I don't know if he's ever going to find it. He's going to have to find a niche on a team. And that's okay. There's a lot of bad teams. The Detroit Pistons, I know they have a bunch of bigs. They could use a guy who can get buckets. Like literally, they're on a 16-game losing streak. Anybody can use a guy who can get buckets. Obviously, you got to find the right fit. But just looking at that, does anything stick out to you on those? Because I know some people, didn't see or wasn't aware that Kenny Lofton Jr.'s contract isn't guaranteed after this season.
No, I mean, it's the one that makes the most sense to move, right? I mean, he still hasn't passed anybody on the depth chart. You've got Santi, and even though you don't have any necessarily massive, true bruiser bigs, Biombo is the closest thing you've got to that. He hadn't been able to pass Santi, X, Biombo. He's obviously not going to pass Jaren. Makes the most sense to move him, even though he could be usable for the Grizzlies, right? It's just not going to – same thing we said during the summer. I just don't see a path for it to work out here. Yeah. No matter how good he is. And honestly, free Jaden Ivey. Send him to the Pistons. I will take Jaden Ivey, dude. Monty at this point, I'm like, he's just collecting a check. Because Jaden Ivey's – listen, if you can't make Jaden Ivey awesome, then I've got concerns. For everybody who hates Taylor Jenkins now, back when we loved him, he should have won Coach of the Year that year when Monty won it. So
I agree. Speaking of the Pistons, we have our guy Greg Waddell from Sleepers Media going to be joining me for the entire show. One, it gives Nate pretty much an entire week off of doing the show, which is always nice, especially early in the season. But 2, it gives me a chance to just kind of spend time with Greg. He's a friend of mine. He's a huge college basketball guy. So if you don't know anything about Sleepers Media, Greg and Carter do an amazing job over there. And so Greg's going to join me the entire show. He is a Pistons fan. He lives up there in the Motor City. And so he wants to join and talk through that. But also we're going to hit on a little bit of the Pistons and the Grizzlies. We're going to hit on some college basketballs too. I'm going to hear a little bit of his outside lens of what Memphis is, because he covers them. I believe I can't remember the network he covers for college basketball with, but he has some thoughts on them. So it's decent. It's a very good show that does that. And so you're going to like it. It's going to be more tailored to our style. Like it's a more entertaining show that gives you a lot of good nuggets, but Greg will be on with us Wednesday. But man, I really do think that they're going to have to make some kind of moves faster than later, sooner rather than later. Probably sooner is better than faster. But as Adam was saying, that we might not get the actual another 10-day, right, because of the hardship. And I totally forgot about it being on a hardship. I thought it was because of the injuries, but I forgot it was because we had so many people injured, not the injuries of Clark and Adams. I thought it was because of them.
We have so many people hurt. I'm like, surely they can find another hardship somewhere in there. I'm like, surely they've got one just sneaking around, crawling around in there they can dig up. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know how you keep some of the guys you've got on your roster and then let somebody who can actually contribute go. Like I would be so happy. I would be so fine. Oh, forgot about that guy. He's probably draining threes over there in Turkey or wherever, but yeah, dog. Honestly, at this point, I just wave Jake LaRavia. I have never enjoyed watching Jake LaRavia play basketball.
let's talk about that real quick. All right. So I think that would
I
be
know it'll
a
be Kenny if they do that. I know it'll be Kenny if they do that.
no. I think it'd be a dumb move to waive somebody. I know that I know the fan base. I know we think that Jake LaRavia is not good. What he's doing in the G League has potential, and people might think that they can do something with him. Second round picks, you can literally throw him and put him anywhere, whatever. But he is $4 million. He's actually a better trade chip than John Conchar right now. And that's what I'm trying. That's what I want people to understand. Like, yes, but he is, and he's younger.
Yes. Okay. Yes. If you can trade him, trade him. I'm also saying I just as soon waive him.
Correct. I understand what you're saying.
Than to just keep him on the roster just because. Like,
Right.
dude, if they didn't keep a guy who's come in, been here for 10 days, actually contributed, and then at some point in the season, I have to watch Jake LaRavia get blown by / do nothing, like get a wide open three and be like, oh, wow, that shot looks so good as it bricks off and almost injures a child. Like, listen, I gave him a lot of benefit of the doubt because of the whole Santi thing where I said Santi sucked so much and nothing about him looks like an NBA player. And look at where I am now. But, dude, I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible watching him go in there and play basketball. And then he tries to dunk on somebody and breaks his arm dang near every game. I'm like, you're not John Morant.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
I get triggered thinking about watching him play basketball, and I like watching Jalen Noel play basketball for the Grizzlies.
I agree.
So, whatever it takes.
And another thing I want to talk about real quick is the December 15th trade deadline is a big trade deadline for a lot of players because players that were signed in the offseason, whatever, they have to eventually meet to the 15th of December to be allowed to be traded. And so that's going to be another hiccup. They're going to have to do something, I would imagine, because they're not going to make a trade before in the next few days because I think the 10-day is coming up very soon. And I'm not exactly sure what they even got. I'm not going to look through my phone right now to look at it, but they're going to have to do something faster. I would imagine what happens if I had to predict, I would say they're going to just waive Kenny Lofton Jr. I don't think anybody's going to want to give a second round pick for him. He'll clear waivers. Somebody will grab him. But I think at that point you sign Jalen Noel for, a 2-year contract or something like that. Something cheap, not too much. But then I wouldn't doubt if they try to make a run after the 15th at grabbing some players. And I know that it's going to be they probably don't have to overreact because they can kind of take their time. But I wouldn't doubt if you can then somehow use your player exception, right? Which is, I think, $8 million. I believe it's $7 or $8 million, right around there. But you can use that, which would be great. But then you add that to two guys like LaRavia and Zaire. And there's guys out there like DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith, but also Lonnie Walker, who's on a 1-year, $2 million a year deal. They want Cam Thomas to play over Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker's been really good. I think those are guys that you could also go get if you needed to, if you throw in a first-round pick or something like that with those two guys. So you're talking about realistically, you're trading 3 first-round picks because you're trading 1 future and then 2 previous. So we'll see.
That's an interesting comment. So
that's what I do.
No, not all that in general. I'm saying you including Zaire in that, I think is interesting. So you're ready to go ahead and throw Zaire into something like that for Dorian Finney-Smith.
Oh yeah, Zaire's cooked, man. And is that what the young kids say? Cooked. I've been saying that. I didn't realize that was like a cool thing to say anymore. So I probably need to stop.
Well, it worked when you said it, which makes me think it's probably not cool. So I'm gonna stop saying it.
I wouldn't say it anymore. If I'm using it, it's not should be said. I'm old.
Yeah,
I'm washed.
Probably cooked at this point. But Zaire, that's interesting. I haven't thought about that because like when you think about someone like Jeremy Grant, I'm like, yeah, okay, Zaire, I'm sorry, love you, kind of, bye. No. When you think about DFS, it's not like that's not a household name.
He's under contract though, with a decent contract.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. For. Like, it's interesting because I don't think about that of like, oh, DFS, go make moves to get that guy. But solid wing on a good contract, it's something we're thinking about that I hadn't thought about.
Well,
Just interesting because that's not a guy who I think, oh, go make moves to get him, right?
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm the brains of this operation back here.
If that was true, we'd be so screwed.
All right. So, from my understanding, I thought you could add the TPE Dak Daniels to other players, but maybe not. I thought, like you're thinking, you can't at one point, but then I thought I was corrected and was told that you can add a TPE to a deal. Either way, I'm not the smartest person around, but I'm smarter than Nathan, which is important. But let's go ahead. Anything else? Let's go ahead and wrap up all this and let's get to a preview for the Suns.
Yeah.
But anything else you want to hit on before we get to the preview?
Listen, I just think it's enjoy it while you have it, right? I mean, it's one of those things where I didn't expect him to win tonight. Lauren, going to shout out to Lauren for coming on again. She was on us with the last game. But I was like, you're saying the Grizzlies are going to only lose by 9 is super generous. Now, that is me thinking that they were going to have a lot more players on the floor than they did. But at the same time, if you'd have told me that lineup they had coming in tonight, I wouldn't have been like, oh, yeah, they're for sure going to pull that out. And then they were impressive the entire game. So it looks like they found something. Again, I don't want to be hurt again. I'm fragile.
Not going to be hurt.
But it looks good, man. It looks like they got real players and they're playing with a real identity. They look like the Memphis Grizzlies. And that's something that we haven't been able to say all year.
They look like a real basketball team.
Pretty much.
But listen, this is what I will say about all of this. It's been doom and gloom. And these shows have sucked. Our numbers have sucked until this week. So first of all, thank you to you all. For whatever reason, this week has done, actually last week, it started blowing up. So our numbers have looked really, really good. And they continue to keep climbing. I imagine when Ja gets back, the Ja boost, it won't hurt at all. But it has done good. But if you can see these last two teams, Laurie Markkanen's missing, right? And so that team doesn't look the same. Okay, the Grizzlies look like they played much better. But then look at this team tonight. Kyrie was still there. Kyrie looked like he was just uninterested, first of all. Second of all, Luka was not there. They didn't have a couple of the other guys. So off of a good team, when you lose your best player and then potentially another decent player, you don't look the same. These other guys who should not be playing normal big minutes are playing normal big minutes. That's what we're having at our team right now. We're going to start getting guys back. That's the biggest thing with here. The glass half full is Xavier Tillman came back tonight. Marcus Smart's out of a boot. He's going to be coming back very soon. And then you're talking about Luke coming back at that point. We're going to get deeper. We're going to have where these guys aren't needing to play. And then you're going to actually have real conversations, because if Roddy is playing really well, if Vince is playing really well, you have a lot of good questions. But I'm excited for those questions. I would rather have those questions than who in the world can we play? Who's not going to suck?
I know. It's kind of weird to think about it. It's like, oh, when Marcus Smart comes back, what do you want to do, right?
Yeah,
it's
what
like,
do you want to do?
You're not going to not play Marcus Smart, but now then there's speculation maybe the Grizzlies want to trade him. There's a lot.
Come on. I don't think this quickly, especially after the
I
move
don't
he pulled.
think so either. But
The
like
leadership
on
is
Twitter,
big. Yeah, well,
there's a lot of situations that need situating.
a lot of situations.
It's going to be interesting to watch. But right now, I'm just going to enjoy what we have.
Yep. All right, minute break. Listen to Sane and GP.
People have this thing like, oh, I'm keeping the receipts, and I'm going to remember who said this. We wasn't lying.
Well, I get it.
Yeah.
So that's one. I've reached a point where, like, anything you say on Twitter, I can ignore it.
Right.
Like, I'm not promising you I'll never pop back at somebody. Sometimes I do. I might today, but I often don't. I would say for every 50 negative comments I get, I might reply to one. I don't get involved.
I'm getting there too, man.
Yeah, but you don't look like you're getting there. I see you arguing all day long every day. You got to wait.
There, man.
You got a ways to go.
Well, I might get more. Well, I don't get as many as you.
Well, how about this? And I'm not saying you have to get there. I'm just saying I am there. There are different ways to handle social media. I just found it to be largely unproductive.
Right.
But
I do it for calisthenics sometimes.
Right.
Like I don't feel no way. I just okay. Let me just engage in this just for fun.
Yeah.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Yo, welcome back. Welcome back to our show. Nate has something he wants to talk about with Dak Daniels.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I told my wife in the middle of the game, I go, you know, one of the things I love most about Bismack Biyombo, he doesn't try and shoot threes. And it makes me really happy to see him just hold the ball for however long it takes for someone who can shoot it to come get it. I love Xavier Tillman, but every time he shoots a three, an Angel dies.
There were
I hate it.
There were 3 Angels dead tonight.
Hold on. Okay, let's move on to the next part of the show. In the background, I'm going to look at Xavier Tillman's 3-point shooting totals, not percentage, totals from the year.
All right, real quick, though, we are the Grizz Animal Podcast, the post-game show. Please, if you have a chance, go ahead and hit the thumbs up here on this show, but also hit the subscribe button here on the Bluff City Media Network on YouTube, as well as Grizz 901 if you want to join neither or both. Neither is a bad one. But also follow us at Grizz 901 Podcast. And so we're going to be here throughout the year after every game. So make sure you tune in. Other shows that are happening is the Daily Grind, which happens on this same exact network with the Bluff City Media. They are live Monday through Friday every morning at 9 a.m. Central. There's also Tigers Untapped. This show is so underrated. If you've never watched this show, please do so. The guys are very good. They are honestly the dry humor, but you can tell they really just love each other, but also like they just give each other so much crap. Very similar to this show in a sense. But then saying is Wednesdays and Fridays at noon. It's almost can't miss television. I won't say I can't miss it because I have work sometimes, but it's almost can't miss. And so most of the time when I don't have work stuff going on, it's Wednesday to Friday at noon for me. And then on the Bluff, check out those guys. Gabe and Christian are amazing. And then join the Discord as well. And so that's all of the housekeeping I will do. Let's go ahead and get into the last few things that we have. And that's going to be the Suns preview. I know you want to get back to yours, so go back to your X comment.
He was 7 for 20, 35% going into tonight, which is infuriating. But after tonight, he is 7 for 23, 30%. So it makes me feel a little bit better about that.
I knew you would like
Stop
this
shooting
one.
them. Shoot him if it's under 8 seconds. Ooh. Ooh. Who we talking about? Okay, David clarified on the court. I still don't love it. You got to find another comparison. Despite the NBA being super cool with Karl Malone and others, I personally am not. So, sorry, David.
Anyway, let's keep going back to Xavier Tillman. What were you saying?
Oh, nothing. He's shooting 30% from 3. And honestly, if it's not under 8 seconds in the corner, I don't want him shooting the 3.
I like it.
Let's make it under 7 seconds.
Yeah, I wonder. So on that, I know they want to stretch out all the way to the corner, but what I would like is him going out to filling in what people consider the dunker spot in a sense, right? And so if he could fill that, and that way it doesn't take him out too far, but he's still creating that space, I would rather have that. So if he's able to, instead of getting all the way out, but he like comes in where he's enough where he could shoot that floater still, where he's within 10 feet, shoot an easy floater, work on that, short corner shot, but also be more in the offense, a higher percentage shot, in my opinion, even though I know they like shooting the threes and spacing out, blah, blah, blah. I just think he should go to that.
To be clear, I love Xavier Tillman. I think he has a really good game that fits with the team. I just don't want it to ever include shooting a 3 unless it's like a last resort type thing.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's get to the Suns preview. So this is going to be a little weird. I don't know what to expect out of this team.
Yeah, me either.
Okay, so first of all, Derrick Rose playing on a back-to-back. Let's go to the Grizzlies real quick. Derrick Rose playing on a back-to-back. Unsure if they're going to run with Derrick Rose on a back-to-back. The Grizzlies, obviously, they have the Suns, and then they would have 3 days off. So you would think, because they have 3 days off, they might go ahead and try to play majority of their players back-to-back. Or, as Nathan said last time on the last show, Wednesday, they could obviously sit guys, especially people like Bane who have shown to be injured, and other guys, and maybe give some of these young cats a run and try to see if they can kind of steal a win on the road. But also, let's flip it over to the other side. Devin Booker was out tonight.
That's what I'm looking up right now.
Is KD playing? They're
He's
playing right now. Into the first, it's 41-30 Nugs, and KD is playing. So that's my other thing is KD going to play?
I think Booker probably plays.
Because Booker was a last-minute play today. My thought was if Booker sits tonight, KD sits tomorrow night.
That's what I would say last year, but I don't. The new rules make it a little bit more confusing. I'm not positive where that lands as far as the NBA's new load management rules, but as of last year's NBA, that's what I would assume happens probably. I think the Grizz sit D Rose though. I don't see them playing him. Like Dak was saying, he already is old, and then he got a little banged up tonight. I just have a hard time seeing him playing. I would probably rest Dez unless he's actually right, but feels like he has a bum foot, right? Right.
Well, you get an extra day off, okay? So your body is having to go through it real quick, right? Back-to-back nights with travel. Dallas to Phoenix isn't just the easiest of flights. It's not like LA to LA or LA to Denver or something, that's a little bit closer. This is a decent flight. But who knows? But as Dak Daniels says, Booker don't want to see the V-dub again.
Dak must not have watched the last game.
Yeah, put up 40 in his eyeballs.
That's not a bad flight. It's nothing like that. You have a chance to rest guys. You already kind of stole a game. I would want to keep going, like keep the momentum rolling. So it's all dependent upon Desmond Bane. I don't think you see D Rose no matter what. Jaren didn't play a game tonight, so he'll be ready to go. And then Dez, if he's right, you can go ahead and play him. But I feel like his foot probably could use a. I don't know. Yeah, me and Dak are just aligned tonight. Let's go.
Yeah, all right. It's scary. There's another one of you out there. It's dangerous. Tell me what you think about this. This has nothing to do with the Suns.
Oh, crap.
But David Vickers wants to call Vince Beetle from now on because V-Dub, Beetle. Do you agree? He said it was their vote. He took the vote himself internally, and it was 1-0. You like Beetle?
I'm sorry, no.
I don't
David's
like
over
Beetle either.
tonight.
There's got to be something. There's got to be something. I don't like Beetle either because it doesn't. There's nothing. There's no cool factor to it. I get the reasoning, and I love the reasoning. I just don't see if I can call somebody Beetle.
Listen, he's the only one that made an effort, so he's 1-0 in that regard. But he's
winning
now default 1-2 because of the result of that, and then saying X is Karl Malone. Sorry, Dave. You got a chance for redemption. You can come up with something else, but I can't go with it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree. So we just saw the Phoenix Suns. Let's go look back at that score. That was way back in November, so long ago. But it was 110-89, and it was a game that realistically the Grizzlies were just outplayed. It was outplayed by Grayson, Allen, Nurkic, Gordon, like those guys, Okogie. It was KD still didn't play, in case anybody forgot. KD still didn't play, but Booker went 40 deep, and it was a solid 40. 15 of 21 shooting, 3 of 4 from deep. Like it was nasty efficient. But looking at the Grizzlies, Jaren had a decent game. He played double the minutes, almost triple. Aldama played really good, but you know who didn't play good was Bane. Bane had 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 10 assists. And so that's a different story. Is if Bane can, put up 20 or 30, that is a much different game than a 21-point loss. But we're not going to know. Honestly, there's no reason to go crazy and predict it. I do believe that if it was me and my team, I would give Bane the night off because you just stole a win from the Mavs. Unless they're going to sit Booker and KD, I'm not playing my guys. Not that I'm scared of Booker or whatever. I just think that you can have a chance to really grab an extra day of rest, and I think that actually helps you going into into Detroit when you're playing the Pistons, that's going to be a good rest. I think 3 days is great. 4 days would be awesome. And so get that toe some rest. So I don't know. Anything else you have tonight? I'm pretty much tapped out. We're at our hour mark. We're way over, but it's been fun get rolling tonight.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think if Bane's foot's good, you play him. Like, you want to keep kind of going with what you found the past couple of games, but I just don't think his foot's good. I think his foot is maybe 90% at best, and so I would rest him too. But if we're just on outs and his foot's fine, then I'd play him. Keep it going. There's no reason not to. You got a bunch of days off. D-Rose needs to sit. I thought D-Rose might be done for the season when he came up hobbling, so I would rest D-Rose.
All right. Well, there you have it. We're split again, but I do agree with that. You've won 2 games in a row. Maybe you catch lightning in a bottle here because you do have 3 days off, and so there could be a chance to go ahead and grab a little bit. And David is struggling. He wants to call this man bug, bus, golf.
Hold on. I'm trying to save
help
you from
this
yourself,
man out. Chat, we need some help for David. He needs a name for Vince Williams. He's going with the Volkswagen theme for the V-dub. I don't know where you go with that. But I think
to find the name of the bus. The bus is the good one.
The bus.
The bus.
Oh, they have a bus? The Volkswagen has a bus?
That old bus. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
The old Volkswagen bus. That's like from your time, man. Like these things right here. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
That's what I'm talking about.
Resto mod.
I don't know. We'll think of something.
Yeah.
I like David. Next time, just do your Volkswagen research. I like the way you're thinking.
Yeah, we're gonna go. That was back in '67. Come on, I'm not that old.
Yeah, you old fart. You old a-hole.
Wow. All right, so listen, they were around. I do know at the hippie vans. Let's call him hippie. No, I can't do that.
The Passat, the Volkswagen Passat.
That's it. We're done. This is getting worse. The other one wasn't as terrible. Beetle was, I get it, whatever. Then now we're completely off the rails.
The Golf, the Volkswagen Golf.
These shows are so much more fun when we're winning.
Yep.
It really is. And so I can't wait to, 1, keep winning. 2, I can't wait to have Ja back. And when Ja gets back, it's going to just kind of flip. But I need to know, jacket or no jacket. I like the winning jacket, but I don't want to look like a Barstool guy. Maybe I need to change my hat.
You do look like a Barstool guy. That's gonna happen. You need to put on like a shirt and tie. Be real classy about it.
Not doing that.
Then you're not committed. I don't know what you want.
We'll figure something out. But I don't want to look like the Barstool guy. But I do like the look when we win. And that way, then I might not even wear a shirt when we lose. Who knows? I'll probably get canceled, but we'll see.
You won't get canceled. Just everyone will quit watching.
It's true. I'll have my nip covers. All right, that's it. This just needs to be done.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely look like a alum of a frat party. It's been a fun night. It's been a good night. Make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Everything's been going really, really good for us personally. So I want to say thank you all. The numbers of our female audience has been really big. And so I think we're at 42% of our female audience of our entire 100%. And so it has been really, really good. And so thank you to anybody who's listening out there, man or woman, but also the ladies that have enjoyed this. We try to keep this a clean show for the most part. That way, because I do have kids, and 1, they can hear me a lot of times, but 2, because if you are riding with your kids in the car, which we do have a very large portion of our audience that is audio only. Thank you for listening, but we try to keep it clean for that reason. And so when you tune us in, if you want to listen with your kids, if you want to listen with your parents or something like that, you feel confident that we're not going to get crazy and vulgar. Sometimes a little out there, especially if Sane's on. If Sane's on, it's like we have to tag this thing as explicit immediately. But no, it has been awesome. So I hope you all understand what, the reasons we do things. And so a little behind the curtain sometimes, and the decisions we make, we don't get too carried away on some of those areas. But what a great show. What a fun show. I hope that you're all having a good time. The 2-game win streak, can we make it 3? We'll see. We play Phoenix. We'll see you next time. Tomorrow night, maybe. Be nice and tell your friends.